Hey everybody, I'm going to a little bit of a different video than I usually do. You saw the title, you're here for a reason, and I'm going to address the question that many of you have been asking for over a year, and it's why have I left the USCCA? I'm shooting from the heart, shooting from the hip here. Didn't plan this, just kind of hit and record, and hopefully I can do this in one take. I did write a couple things down here just to try to stay on track so I can make sure I hit everything I want to address. But you all have asked, and I'm going to tell you why. And this is going to be the only time I'm going to address this, so let's get after it. Many of you have been around for years, and you know that for 6+ years, I was under contract with USCCA. There were several influencers, YouTube personalities, however you want to term it, but I was one of the people who was under contract with USCCA. And for most of that time, it was a really good relationship back and forth, and that led us to where things started to go south. And there were two major cases. Most of you know those cases. It's the Kayla Giles case, where she was first initially covered by USCCA. They dropped $50,000 for her initial securing her attorney, and then they decided that they were going to drop her. And her attorney at the time that they did have said that it was a great self-defense case, but he was off the case because USCCA was no longer paying. And attorneys on retainer have done a great video on that. They just updated it recently. Links in the video description. You might, if you're interested in that case, you're going to want to watch it. USCCA dropped her for many reasons, and you even saw, the boss man, the CEO, the president of USCCA addressed it, and what he said, I guess, is his belief. But as somebody who pays for that type of coverage, you expect that coverage to be there when you need it in court, and they dropped her before a judge or a jury said anything about the case. And that was a problem for me. And at the time, I was still under contract. I asked several people working there that were my contact. I even asked some people at higher levels what was going on, because most of you know I used to be a police officer, so I know that people have this process they go through, and that a judge and a jury are the ultimate finders of fact and deciders, not a pencil pusher, not an insurance company. And they wouldn't give me any straight answers. They just would not give me any answers. And that pissed me off, as you can probably imagine. And then a second major case was the Austin Coley case, and that was the DoorDash driver who was accosted by a prankster YouTuber at a shopping mall, ultimately shot him. Coley shot him. And USCCA somehow dropped the ball on that one too, because Coley's first call was to USCCA. He ended up with an indigent defender, a court-appointed attorney. And without going too far down the road on that one, his court-appointed attorney was able to win that case based off of self-defense when it should have been a USCCA attorney. And, I paid for the service for my family and I to make sure that, God forbid, I ever have to defend myself or my wife or my children or you or your children if we're out in public, or a member of my community, if I have to step up and be the sentinel for our society that I have sworn I will be. It got to a point where I was no longer confident that the USCCA would have my back if I were in the shoes of, say, a Kayla Giles or an Austin Coley or anyone else. Now, maybe I'm wrong for thinking that, but that's what I thought. And right after the Austin Coley case, I asked a ton of questions. I was banging the drum. I was very forcefully asking questions and demanding answers. And again, they decided they were not going to give me answers. For years, I asked them to follow up with the comments and questions you all had in my videos. Ask them, hey man, just, 20 minutes, just sit in the comment section and answer the questions that these people have, and it never happened. So something had to give. Just about Thanksgiving of 2023, a little over a year ago now, I stopped putting USCCA sponsorships on my ads, on my videos rather. I'm going to try to one take this, but you guys understand what I'm saying. You didn't see an ad from USCCA from right around Thanksgiving of 2023. Why? Because I disagreed with their stance. I disagreed with how they, in my personal opinion, how they did those people wrong who were paying for a service that you would think, as someone who buys USCCA coverage or any other coverage from any other group or program, that when I need it, it'll be there. And these are two big cases where that wasn't the case. Now, like I said, I stopped doing sponsorships from USCCA because I was uncomfortable with, trying to get you aware of a service that I wasn't even comfortable with the fact that would it cover me. God forbid you or your loved ones as well. Now, I was still under contract, and they wouldn't let me out of my contract. I did try several times, and I'm sure that they had their reasons, right? But you're seeing this video now, 14 months later or whatever it is, and I am no longer under contract with USCCA. And I've been studying all of the programs that are out there, and there's no perfect program, especially as it relates to each individual person, because it's all subjective. What I think I need for my coverage or the coverage of my wife and children, you might not have the same desires. But I will tell you, the big one for me is I have joined Attorneys on Retainer. We have partnered up because I think it's the best in the land. I've seen how they have added constantly to their program. And being I travel a lot to different events and where I'm a speaker or what have you, and I've had the opportunity to speak with their team, AOR's team and ownership at these events because they were exhibitors at some of them. And we see eye to eye. We really do. Mark's a bulldog. Mark Victor, he's a bulldog. He's a Marine, Massachusetts native. He is that dude that, God forbid I ever have to pull the trigger, I want him fighting for me in my corner. That's what I pay for, is I want somebody who will fight for my freedom the same way I'm fighting every single day, and even more vicious. Because guys, I've been in the courtrooms for decades. In the courtroom, when you're on the other side and the state's trying to put you away, it's not a good place to be. It's not a good place to feel, is my attorney going to let me down? Are they going to pull coverage? And it's just not going to happen with Attorneys on Retainer. So I decided that was worth my investment. I'm paying for service to be a member, and I want them in my corner. You've heard a lot about them. I'm sure you've been listening and paying attention. If God forbid you never have to, but if you ever have to utilize your tools and defending yourself, if you're a member of AOR, you get that Strike Force team, the phone number. When you call them, you're talking to an attorney, and your attorney-client privilege starts immediately. And that doesn't happen on many of the other ones. Do your own due diligence. I did. And in the 14 months I've been looking into this stuff vigorously, I highly recommend Attorneys on Retainer. Check them out. I have a link down below. I'll save you some money. And if you use my code GNG at checkout, I'll save you $50 off of your individual sign-up fee and $25 off of your family sign-up fee. That's some good cake. Code GNG. The link is down below. I suggest you at least take a serious look at them and what they provide and what they don't provide. I'll be honest. I want to be transparent. There is no perfect program. But I have talked to these folks, the team and the ownership over there, and they're great people, and I know they're adding things, and there's going to be some things coming in the future that are going to be phenomenal as well, which is why I'm doing what I'm doing right now and telling you that I believe in them, and that's what I have to defend my wife, my children, and my community and myself. The biggest thing, guys, it's not an insurance company. If you have an emergency, and you call and you're a member, you're talking to an attorney. And as long as you as long as they can say in court that you acted in self-defense, then they're covering you. They're covering you on a lot of things that other programs would drop you on because they're not, you don't have an attorney on retainer. You have an insurance program. Things like criminal acts. There are, criminal acts are forbidden. They're taboo in some of these programs, and it gives them the out to drop you or to maybe make you pay stuff back at some point. Not so with AOR. They're attorneys. They're going to cover you. If you acted in self-defense, some states are going to charge you with a criminal act anyway. AOR will be there to defend you. And they operate in every single state. There's one state, it was put out there in the media and stuff. Connecticut went after them, trying to kick them out of the state, saying that you're an insurance company. You can't do that here. They're not an insurance company. They're an attorney. They're a law firm. And they're going to win that, And for all of the members they had in Connecticut, still have those members, and they're going to cover them for free until it gets all rectified. So they're doing the right thing by all those people in that state, which is huge. That's huge. You don't see that from a lot of companies. I mentioned the criminal acts. They cover illegal weapons. You can ask them more information on that, but if it's a non-roster weapon, like if you live in Massachusetts or California, and you have a gun that's not on the roster, maybe you shouldn't even have it, or how did you get that? Or they're going to cover you, all right? Again, did you have the right to defend yourself? If so, we're going to defend you. That's the way they look at it. They cover things like gun-free zones. Are you able to defend yourself everywhere, even in a gun-free zone? Yes, AOR thinks the same. Not so with many of the other options you have. If your permit is expired, they'll cover you. Your right to defend yourself doesn't stop when a magic number on a card expires, and good on them for that. They'll even cover you if you're a prohibited possessor. Think of a scenario. Somebody is a prohibited person, whatever. Maybe they didn't return library books when they were a kid, or they had an OUI, drinking when driving 30 years ago, and they can never ever hold a firearm lawfully according to the tyrannical government again, right? They still have the right to defend themselves. So if something happens and they happen to defend themselves, AOR is going to defend that person as well. There's just a list of things on their website. You can read their contract. It's right on their website. And there's a bunch of things that other companies, other options will not cover you for, but AOR does. Negligent discharges. If something happens on accident, they'll cover you. Some other things I wrote down. Impaired judgment, whether it's drugs or alcohol. You happen to have a drink one night and you're going home and somebody tries to take your life. Do you have the right to defend yourself? Maybe because you had a bourbon an hour ago? Yes, you do. And AOR will cover you. They cover if something happens in domestic violence and you have to defend yourself. Yes, they'll cover you. Many places won't. They're always looking to make things better. They're always looking to make the program the best in the country. And I really think it is the best for you. Like I said, guys, no program is perfect. Everybody has their own things that they value over what some other people do. But when you look at the big picture, Attorneys on Retainer is the best program, in my opinion. If you trust me, if you believe what I'm telling you, go down and hit the link down below and check it out for yourself. Use my code and save money on your initial sign up. It's a way to make it a little more approachable for you. Guys, I wasn't confident I would be covered before, and I'm a person who is always ready to defend myself, my wife, my children, and others. I took an oath several times, and my oath doesn't end. So I am now confident that, God forbid I ever have to do that, AOR is going to be there by my side, no matter where I am in this country. And I didn't feel that before. And if you were in the same boat where you were questioning another company, I would implore you to check out Attorneys on Retainer. The link is down below. And tell them I sent you. Use my code, save some money. And let me know what you guys and gals think of this. Like I said, this video has been over a year in the making. And I couldn't say stuff before. but I'm no longer under contract. So now you know what happened. I had the same thoughts and feelings that you all did during those two major cases. And I'll even say this, like AOR put out a video probably 2 months ago, maybe give or take. I'll try to link it down below. And it's an actual testimonial of a customer who was, I believe, a heavy-duty country viewer who joined after a heavy-duty country was talking about AOR. And not too long after joining, someone tried to take his life. He defended himself, and AOR they jumped on it. And they did things, watch that video, they did things that other groups wouldn't even think of doing. And they had that guy out of, away from the police department, back home with his family that same evening. So, there's no such thing as a perfect self-defense shooting. I've been on several shootings in my career, far too many to count. And they're all ugly. This is something I even said to USCCA, like, every self-defense incident is ugly and high stress. And if you just take the right precautions, take the steps necessary to make sure that someone has your back, because there's so much that happens around an incident like that, guys and gals. I just can't deal with maybe we'll cover you, maybe you'll be covered. Depends. Like, it doesn't depend. And AOR believes the same way. Like I said, link is down below. Check them out. Code GNG10 will save you some money. It's right for me. It's right for my family. And I really do think once you check it out, it'll be right for you as well. Hope you have a great start to the new year. It's 2025. And let's make it a great one, y'all. Take care.